And we're back. Can't stutter, but we got our boy Sher fucking Ali. How are we doing, brother?
Great, bro. I'm really happy to be here.
It's good to see you, dude.
Good to see you too.
Sher Ali was late as fuck today, but hey, it's all good.
I'm so
hey,
sorry, bro.
we're in Brickell. We're like near Brickell, so it's kind of like expected. Everyone's living fast. You know, we just had the Super Bowl yesterday, right?
Yeah.
But we don't want to talk about that. We want to talk about the excellence of this man. I just want to say a couple of things, bro. It's really weird that we just like met right now.
Yeah.
Because I remember my manager, Ollie Sultan, I remember when I first joined Door to Door, and the guy that recruited me was like the top rookie, and they did all this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember like them mentioning Chris Marsh. I'm like, who the hell is that guy?
Yeah.
And I remember going on Instagram, seeing he had like a McLaren. I was like, oh, that's so sick. And I like saw like this dude look like Bruce Wayne in the back. And I'm like, who the hell is this guy? Like, oh, it's Sher Ali. And I went to go look at the numbers. I'm like, damn, these guys are like doing numbers that like I would never think I would ever freaking touch.
Yeah.
And it's like really crazy to see that you're here, bro.
Dude, I'm humbled. Thank you for having me, bro.
Yeah. So you were at Vivint for how many years?
I started Vivint in March of 2018.
Okay.
Till March of 2024. So I did 7 years, 8 summers.
Wow. And how old are you?
27 now.
God bless, dude. So you did it hella young.
Yeah, since I was 19.
And you're from Miami?
I grew up in Miami.
Okay.
When I was 10, I moved to Pakistan. I lived there till I was 17. Then I moved back to Miami.
Baskar. You know what I'm talking about? You know, did I say it right?
That means enough.
Holy, that's dope, dude. Okay, cool. So, dude, like, I just want to know like a few things because obviously you're like you were a regional at Vivint, and I'm sure like I'm not really sure what happened like with you coming from Vivint over to Sunrun, and obviously we had Zaza on here before, and we know you happen to be in a great vehicle, and you were in a great vehicle before, but like, bro, you've made not just like a statement, but you've kind of like shoved your freaking balls in everyone's face at Vivint, right? Especially being over at the Puma because you guys don't fuck around. And I've knocked behind you guys. It's brutal.
Yeah.
I hate knocking in Atlanta.
Really?
It's not fun, dude.
Yeah, we ran through Atlanta, bro.
But like you became a regional. I just kind of wanted to talk about like just like a little bit, but like how did that formulate? You know, like when you joined in 2018, I don't know if you like thought that you'd be able to get to that point, but from what I'm hearing, your leadership is something that is extremely crazy to the point where like when you went over to Sunrun, Zaza's running his operation. Here comes a freaking guy that's a regional over another company. And there's kind of like this clash going on a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of want to like just get into that and like just free ball.
So you kind of asked me a couple questions at once. I'm going to try to unpack it. First,
Please.
you kind of asked me how I got from like a rookie to a regional level. And I would say a lot of it has to come down to sacrifice. Like first, when I came in, it was all about me. And I was really like fixated on being the best personally, gaining all the recognition. And one main thing that I had to kind of give away from myself and sacrifice was that idea that it's not about me. It's about everybody in my organization but me. So kind of shifting the focus on taking recognition instead of that and then just giving the recognition to other people. And realizing that every single person that I hire is not just a number, but it's really a story. And I have to impact every single person as much as I can. This is something Neil Rogers told me that I stick with to this day. You've probably heard it too, is like, whatever you do good, your reps do half as good. And whatever you do bad, they do twice as bad. Wow. So I really took that to heart. And I feel like in a leadership role, in some ways, you kind of have to have like Superman qualities where your reps can never know the bad things or your bad habits. You have to essentially hide them. And you have to be a superhero in front of these people. So there's nothing you can really do wrong. You have to sell every day. You have to motivate them. You have to be there in the hard times. So that's been a big thing for me, is to like just kind of let go of my ego in particular and like just realize that if I want to build something, it has to be about other people. It cannot just be about me.
Wow. Do you feel like again, when it comes into the advice, I feel like the person that's just kind of starting fresh can take that. But like, would you say like a leader that kind of messed up before in front of his guys can actually be able to regain that trust?
Completely. Yeah, they definitely can. Of course, it's going to be a harder route there, but it can definitely happen. Like they can just at any point decide that they want to be a leader. They want to, be the best person for their guys, and they can just start making those changes. So if there's somebody that, doesn't sell consistently, they can go and start selling consistently.
Word.
If they, party too much with their team, instead of like focusing on building the individuals, they can stop doing that.
Right.
So at any point, you can just kind of decide the man or woman you want to become, and then you can start taking actions towards it. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy.
Yeah.
It's definitely a little bit harder because now you have to let go of a previous image. But It definitely can be done. Like when I was coming up, I remember the year I qualified to manage, I only had 3 people on my team. And those 3 people, once they had a successful summer, kind of just helped me build an entire organization. And I say it all the time, like you don't have to, influence everybody's life. You just have to get a few of your close friends
Right.
rich and have them have a success story. And the rest is just a trickle down effect from there on.
Shit, dude. Okay, so like I want trying to understand the dynamic, bro. So like at the time where you were at Vivint, is it like a thing where Chris Marsh was like the dude that slings a lot? Because you would sling, but you were like, I feel like you're like the leader that's behind the curtains, like running all the shit out in the background. Is that kind of the dynamic that was going on?
You can say that. Marsh is an amazing leader as well.
Yeah.
But my focus has always been more on building a bigger team. So I would look at it this way, like me selling a lot of accounts, the sole reason for that was so my team can sell more.
Right.
Not because I wanted to be the top salesperson.
Right.
That's something I actually didn't care about as much. The only thing I cared about was being the top manager and then eventually hitting regional, because that's really where the growth is. Because sure, it's nice to be the top sales rep, but there just comes a point it's just not as exciting anymore. So I considered myself more of like a vessel for my reps. And yeah, all those sales were made solely to inspire other people, not for myself.
So it's like the devotion is for the guys and it manifests into you like basically knocking super late because you want your guys to knock super late. So you're going out and putting a deal immediately on the board so you can gain the momentum, et cetera, et cetera.
Exactly.
And it's like you're showing up in different places just to show your guys that this is what it is. And it's like, as a leader, you're basically not showing too much and they're not trying to be vague or trying to be like, as I said, Bruce Wayne before.
Yeah.
But it's like, you're pretty much just trying to like be that guy that they aspire to be and also respect. Because at the end of the day, I feel like when it comes down to whenever you recruit people, you're recruiting them, you're talking about how great it is. They look at you as this guy, whatever it is. And then as you start to go through, sometimes people happen to forget the main aspect of respect, which literally comes down to freaking slinging deals. Right?
True. I say it all the time, like you can never tell people what to do. You can only inspire them.
Yeah.
Especially when you try to tell people what to do, they'll probably never listen to you and do the exact opposite. The only time you'll get the result that you initially wanted is by inspiring them and essentially doing the things that you want them to do.
Right.
That's the best positive reinforcement. So if you want your team to sell more, of course you have to sling alarms. You have to sling deals. But you have to essentially be the person that you want them to be.
Right.
And it's so important to have that kind of image in front of people because, yeah, respect is not, earned by just shouting those affirmations out to a group of people.
100%.
It really comes down to like being the man you say you are.
Yeah. So here's the thing. We know that a lot of people say that 1,500 accounts to do. And just to clarify this for anyone who's watching this outside of sales, like pretty much it's like throughout your team, you're doing 1,500 accounts, which means like 1,500 sales. So just put that out there. People say, at least in the industry, that doing 1,500 accounts is by far the biggest hurdle. It's kind of like this big step that you need to do. And after that, it's just like a cannonball after that.
Sure, yeah.
But like you did freaking 5,000 accounts. But I kind of want to know like what was like the numbers you did from you first joined, personal alongside with team wise. And then I want to ask you the question right after that.
So my rookie year, I sold like over 100. I'd say like 100 and change.
Okay.
I remember coming back the following year. I went to my fraternity. I went to some of my friends. I'm like, guys, you won't believe it. Like, I found the thing. Like, we can all be rich. And I realized quickly that a lot of my friends just didn't want to work hard. And they still didn't believe in the vision.
Yeah.
So the next year, I brought up like 5 people. Only 2 of them finished. And a big reason, like in hindsight, at first I blamed my manager. At first I blamed everybody except myself. I'm like, it's your fault that my people didn't finish.
It's the tech's fault.
Yep. And then I sat back for a second and I realized all the mistakes that I made. Like I was micromanaging these people. I was living with my reps, which is something I would never suggest people to do because now you're more likely to micromanage people. If I have to come home and tell you that the dishes aren't done and then I have to train you as well, you're just going to hate me. You know what I mean? So that, and then just being more of a role model, which I did less. Like I remember I'd had bad habits. I stayed up late with these guys and then expected them to be on time for work the next day. So that was a major shift, was taking all the accountability and realizing, hey, it's my fault when I'm successful and it's my fault when I fail. So came back the next year. I remember COVID happened the year after and I was like, damn, like it's really hard to recruit. But I brought up 5 people that following year and 3 of them happened to finish, which is what I needed. And then the following year, I think I brought up about 16 people.
Word. This is all from Miami, huh?
This is all from Miami. And
just recruiting on Brickler Street or what?
No, just like my close friends, like people from my fraternity.
Yeah.
Some of the people that I had already recruited that had a successful summer, they went out and recruited as well.
Yeah.
So a bunch of these things. And then I brought up 16 people. We did about 600 accounts. And I had built a good base where the following year I did about 1,600 accounts. We did about 3,000 accounts as an office. And that's where it kind of blew off because we had like more than 10 to 15 people make well over 50, 60, 70 grand. And now they have a success story to go tell their friends.
Right.
And it just becomes so much easier because, yeah, sure, I can recruit 15, 20, 30 people, but I can't really recruit 100 people or 200 people. That's only going to happen once I have an entire organization that believes in the same vision that I believe in, so they can go out on the grassroots level and kind of recruit.
That's kind of crazy. I've never looked at it like that. So you're pretty much saying like you just develop and you focus on the guys that you can recruit. Because obviously when you recruit 30 guys, they're going to just go recruit another guys and it equates to the 100 people, right? Yep. So it's like you're just basically focusing on the guys and developing the guys and keeping everything sharp. Exactly. And try to make sure you focus on just quality.
Exactly. If you can't run a small team successfully, you can't run a big team successfully. So you have to first kind of master it on a smaller level to then scale it forward. Almost every single time, really. If you can't run like a small business, how do you expect to run a big one? You know what I mean? So after that summer, I remember 2022, it was just a trickle down effect. I never had problem with recruits after that. It just really came to a point where everybody in my organization wanted my job. And if you can inspire everybody in your organization to take your job, it becomes so much easier because now everybody wants to be a leader. And if they want to be a leader, they're going to start acting like a leader. Right. They're going to recruit like a leader. They're going to sell like a leader, and their habits just tend to change.
And the blueprint they're following is you.
Yep.
It's crazy, dude. When I started talking to the Sunrun guys, or not the Sunrun guys, I started talking to the Meraki guys, I was like, yo, how's Sherry doing? Like, bro, this guy's weird. This guy's like weirdly good. Like he's just selling, just absolutely ripping. You were the #1 rep, no?
Yeah.
Dude, fuck yeah, bro. Give me one time. Holy shit, dude. So here's my question for you. I'm not trying to steer it more about like, just like, I kind of wanted to talk more about like sales, but like, dude, you were at Vivint for such a long time. And I'm not saying that was like your identity, but like that was kind of your introduction to door.
Yeah, but honestly, it became a part of my identity. And
right?
Yeah. And
like,
I feel like everybody that's done Vivint from a young age, it becomes your identity.
Yes.
Vivint's an amazing company. I have nothing bad to say about it. It really developed a lot of really good skills that I'm able to hold till today, especially just the people I got to work with in Puma, like Adam and Neil and Aaron.
Yeah.
I respect them to this day. That's one of the reasons I'm at Sunrun is because they suggested for me to go there, and I truly trust them. And really, Neil is one of the people I really follow to this day. Some of the teachings that he's had are going to stay with me forever, really.
That's beautiful, dude. I still don't understand Adam Kinkler, bro. How that guy's living like he's like living like that life. That's
he's a
crazy.
boss, yeah.
But how did that like feel though? Like, did the transition just feel like normal going over? Like, did it feel like how did that feel like when you like left?
It was definitely an emotional time for sure.
I bet.
Like leaving behind my organization, but at the same time, it was kind of exciting, you know, because like when you do something at a high level for a long period of time, it kind of loses its shine. You know, so being the top manager, running the top offices consistently, it's fun the first year, the second year, the third year, but then there comes a point it's kind of mundane now and you expect to be successful. So kind of stepping away from that and having a new challenge was really exciting. Here in Sunrun, we do a lot of things really well, but there's a lot of things that we're still working on. And I feel like some of the blueprints I was able to use at Puma and at Vivint, I've been able to apply here. And it's been really rapid growth. Like we've seen specifically something that we struggle at Sunrun is the systems that we were so good at Vivint, and just kind of taking that and bringing it here. Super exciting, bro. I feel like there's so much untapped potential where I'm at right now. And it's a lot more exciting because I get more of a chance to kind of develop these systems hand on, where Vivint was a lot more turnkey. Everything was just kind of done for you. You had to just show up and start selling. But here it's like there's a lot of things, like I'm saying, like systems wise that we definitely need to improve on. And Sunrun's been really open to that as well, which I really love. Like just in the past, 10 months that I've been there, so many changes have happened for the better that it's really, really exciting.
No, I'm excited to see what you're going to be doing at Meraki, bro. Because I'm going to be honest with you, bro. Like, like when I look at Meraki, it's just a bunch of like surfer dudes, and then it's just Sher Ali showing up, and he's just like not only just showing up, but you're just swinging your dick everywhere and just taking over. Like honestly, but I'm not even trying to. I do this a lot, bro. Like when I'm having a bad day, everyone's feeling I'm having a bad day. If I'm in a good day, everyone knows I'm having a good day. If I'm talking good about somebody, I'm talking really good about you. You know, it's like not. There's no glaze here, but like deadass, you're a fucking good rep.
Thanks.
Like you're a fucking really good rep, and I've mentioned it multiple times my rookie year. I'm like, bro, like Sher Ali, fucking Chris Bar. Like it's the only people I know actually of like the Miami, Neil, whatever. But like, dude, like if you can like just say this to the people out here, and I actually want to know for myself genuinely, like what makes you so good? Like, is it like, do you have like, did some kid punch you in the face when you were 7? You're like, I'm never gonna let that happen again. Like, what is like the thing genuinely that is making you like just a sharp individual that just absolutely murdering it, where like you're doing it at Vivint and you went over to another company and you're just like the number one rep?
Yeah. Well, a couple aspects. I'd say the first one for sure is like a self-belief within yourself that kind of starts at a young age. Always, I knew as a young adult, like, hey, I wanted to be successful when I grew up. I wanted to be the best at what I do. I really didn't think sales would be that vehicle. I was going to school to become a lawyer. Sales just kind of sprung on me, like from some of my friends, like March of 2018. They're like,
did you get your degree?
No, I dropped out my junior year.
How did that feel also, like you being like Pakistani? Because I know Palestinians or Middle Easterns go the same way. Was that
at first my parents were not with it. And for me too, like I love school. Like there's nothing wrong with going to college. Everybody that's in college should definitely finish. The biggest reason why I dropped out wasn't because I didn't like school. It's because that it went online because of COVID. And it kind of, I don't want to do school online. I want that actual experience of going to class, learning something.
And you were in a fraternity too.
I was in a fraternity.
Yeah, makes sense.
So I love school. There's nothing wrong with it. But yeah, at first my parents were totally against it. But of course now they're completely with it.
Yeah, okay. Because they forgive you when you win. That's why.
Exactly. You know, they do. And at least my dad, like he had a very high standard for me. Like I remember that year I dropped out of college. I made like 170 grand, and my dad was still like, "Nah, like you need to go back to school." Yeah. It wasn't until I made like over 400,000 that he's like, "Okay, cool. Maybe this might be a real thing for you."
Yeah. But anyway, sorry. Go back right into that. I just wanted to relay on that a little bit because.
But yeah, the question you asked me was like, what makes me good? It's really like a big part of it is the self-belief. Like you have to decide the man or woman you want to become, and that's just something you have to kind of sit down and kind of realize, you know. A lot of people's self-image of themselves is who they really are. So if you don't think of yourself as being the best, it's really hard to then cultivate those habits and then essentially sacrifice the bad habits that you already have. So that's the first thing. The second thing is being around the right people. It's proper mentorship. Only take advice from people you would trade places with. Right. And I feel like the industry that we work in, we have a lot of that. Yeah. We have a lot of studs, a lot of amazing people that we can try to be like, where in a lot of other industries, they really lack that stuff. And then, of course, like a lot of other aspects helped as well. Like I remember when I started Vivint, I sold like 10 accounts in my first 7 days. And
fuck.
Yeah, because I did like competitive debate from the like 8th grade.
Really?
Yeah, I was ranked like 7th in the world at one point. So like,
wow, what the hell? I did not know that.
No, a lot of people don't. And that's something that really like helped because I had already talked in front of groups of people, did really good at debate. Yeah. So for me, when I originally came in, like the sale was like a case for me. And I had to present that Vivint is the best product in the world, which was really easy for me as long as I understood what I was talking about. Yeah. So the rebuttals and all that came easily. One thing that I did really well was not try to reinvent the wheel. I just shadowed my manager and was like, okay, if he just said this stuff all day long, the same thing every single time, and he got 2 sales, I can essentially do the exact same thing. So coming in at first, I did not try to reinvent my pitch, reinvent essentially anything. I just copy pasted what was given to me. And then once I mastered that, of course, I tried to make it a little bit better. So yeah, just a combination of those things of self-belief, being around the right people, and yeah.
Okay, so here's a question just to tone it down. Because again, when we're coming on this pod with the word polite essentially just means a person that's living by his nature, having his heart on his sleeve. And it's like this whole concept of like, okay, a lizard, if the lizard doubled down being a lizard, it's going to be the best lizard. But sometimes lizards want to be freaking chameleons and they want to be freaking gazelles. And then they're going to find themselves that it's going to take 10 years to do the work that original thing would do in like 30 days. You see what I'm saying? So like, I feel like in sales, you know, you've obviously come into a lot of money. you've come a lot of success. You've come into a lot of dopamine of being that motherfucking guy, right? Like where have you ever like taken time to like actually like slow down? And what I mean by that, to plug into polite, is like it's like this person that's like effortless, and what I see in a person that's effortless is like this person that's just able to get things done effortlessly, and alongside with that, that person also happens to be like a man of God, for an example, right?
Of course.
And I feel like for me, I've only done this job for like 2.5 years, but I've done it untraditionally 5 years, or collectively with doing it corporately. But like I've always been like trying to chase like getting the car, the house, do all this stuff. And I've kind of realized like throughout that sometimes it's really hard to be able to slow down and trying to like focus on like the main thing. And I'm talking about like marriage, God, all that. Like how is that going like for someone that's way above me? Like how is that like for you? Or is that something that you're not even like thinking about?
No, for sure. Especially like coming into this. I remember my first summer I showed up with like negative $35 in my Wells Fargo. I had like $60 on Cash App. So a lot of my motivation at first was making money. And it didn't require, I didn't have to make like hundreds of thousands of dollars. Really, like I made $100,000 and I started asking myself, like, what's the meaning of life? Like, what am I doing this for? Because as a young adult, at like 18, 19 years old, in my head, like the epitome of success is like $100,000. And if I remember I used to play this game in my head, like if I had 50 grand, what would I do with it? You know what I mean? When you're broke. So now I have this money and I'm asking myself, like, what am I doing this for? And that was the moment I kind of sat back and realized, like, the only reason God put me in this position was to help other people.
Right.
And that's when my focus completely shifted from like, all right, this isn't about a money grab for myself. This is about how many other people can I make successful as well.
Yeah.
And dude, like it's completely changed my life knowing that me having success helps me, my mom, my dad, my sisters, my friends, my people that I haven't even met yet. How many people's lives did it change just by me becoming successful, right? So if I can do that for 10, 20, 50 other people, we're making the world a better place. And I don't have to change the world in a day, but if I can just change the world one person at a time by just helping them achieve financial success, it's very, very gratifying.
Yeah.
So I'd say, yeah, by my third year, that was a major shift where I kind of like sat back and realized, like, what am I doing this for? Like, what am I chasing? Because if it's more money, I don't really care about it anymore.
Yeah.
Like I have a nice car, I live in a nice place. Like it can't just be for the materialistic things. Because if it is, it's just so vain and so empty, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So that, and then of course, like having a huge belief in God. Like God is probably the most important part here. Like if you don't believe in a higher power, you don't believe in, retribution and like the gratitude that you get from being successful. And if you don't want to share that with other people, it's just a miserable existence, to be honest. So like without God and without my belief in the fact that everything's going to work out for me because I know I'm in the right place and God's by my side, I would not say I'd be here right now.
Damn, do you feel like this job's gotten you closer to God?
Of course. What?
Has it been on the doors or what?
Of course. On the doors, off the doors. Like it's in moments of struggle and moments of downtime when you're really not like, I guess you're really struggling mentally is when God kind of comes into play, right? It's kind of harder to, I guess, kind of call on God when everything's going really good for you. So to say that everything's just been smooth and perfect for me is crazy. But even in my times where I've been doing really well, that's the moments I take to thank God. But in my times where I'm down and I don't feel like I'm doing too well, or maybe I'm a little disappointed in my performance, those are the moments I get to call on God and just remind myself that, like God's there for me.
And he's shown himself to you multiple times.
Of course.
Okay. So like coming up to like the end of the pod real quick, I have what would you feel like would be like the necessities that you'd need to have? And this comes from a person that is coming from like the best people in the industry. What do you feel like are like the necessities that you need to be a top performer, top leader? Like right now, you're gonna go to the new summer. What are the things that you're gonna be doing to go do that? And I'm talking like from like when you wake up to the things you're doing, to the things that you're doing and telling people, et cetera, et cetera. Like what are the things that you gotta do?
We're talking about in the summer or in the preseason?
Let's talk about, I know that's gonna be two different things. Let's talk about like the summer.
Okay. Well, in the summer, of course, like first and foremost, these correlations that you run, they have to be really good. They have to be impactful. I think of a correlation as by the time I'm done, everybody needs to be willing to run through a wall, bro. Like that's the kind of energy I need to provide.
Yeah.
Like everybody needs to be so hyped to go work because they feel like they're doing something greater than themselves.
Yeah.
Kind of bringing everybody to a mission where like, hey, our job this year is to be the best, and getting behind that where every person is involved. Sometimes I do that by creating a common enemy. It could be like an opposing team, somebody that you're competing against, or just like little slight indignations. Like I remember we ran a draft a couple years ago, and there was this other management group that we were talking shit to, and they were talking shit back to us. And we really used that as fuel, bro, to go win this draft. I remember I woke up one day and I'm like, hey, I got a call from this other team. And dude, they were talking so much shit. They're like, dude, you guys are going to lose, yada, yada. And that got my team so riled up, bro. We went out and we killed it that day. Later, I revealed to them that I never got this call. This never happened. And truthfully, I just used that as a motivation for everybody to go out there and kill it. And they loved it, you know? So creating a common enemy, having really good correlations. Correlation is not just about going over the numbers. It's not just about talking about training. It's a time where, as a manager, you need to sit there and motivate your team and kind of hit on the things that they're going through, like being relatable, which I feel like a lot of times managers don't do. Like they'll get up there and be like, hey, I sell so many. Why don't you sell as many as me? Nobody wants to hear that. People want to hear like, hey, I also had a really hard day yesterday. I was bageling until 8 o'clock, and for somehow, some way, I knew I was going to make it happen, and I kept going, and I got my sale at 9:30. That's what people want to hear. They want to hear like, oh, this person's human as well. He's going through the same experiences we are. He's just kind of dealing with it differently. And to be relatable and kind of getting down to their level. Another thing that's really important is calling every person on your team at the end of the day, which is kind of tedious, especially if you have a really big roster, but it's so important because that kind of gives you the insight of how my correlation and my meeting is going to go the next day, right? Like imagine your entire team is struggling with working late, yet the next day I'm giving them a training on the pitch. They don't want to hear about the pitch. They probably already know the pitch. They already know all the content. What they're struggling with is motivation right now on working when it's dark. So not only you selling late is going to be helpful, but you touching on that the next day solely because you're able to talk to everybody and realize like, hey, nobody really worked that late. People kind of stopped early on. So
and you're fishing for that. You're not like asking for the like the problem. You're like fishing for it, trying to gauge it.
Exactly. Right? A good way for me to identify if you didn't work that hard is if I ask you how your day went and you didn't sell and you tell me the day was good. And then you follow by saying, oh yeah, it was good. And nothing else. Like not like, hey, like, I don't know, I didn't sell for 9 hours straight and it didn't work out for me. Or you don't follow up with a bunch of questions. I can kind of just smell the fact that you were lazy that day. So you don't even have to tell me. I kind of already know now because I've had a bunch of conversations where a bunch of people that didn't sell had a good day. Yeah, that's a good indication that people didn't work that hard. Of course, working all the hours yourself. As a manager, you got to take out a bunch of shadows. You got to show them the perfect day.
100%.
So just kind of killing the correlation, knocking and selling consistently every single day, and coming home and talking to every single person on your roster to kind of identify where you want to take it from there the next morning.
Fuck yeah, dude. You're like a unit, bro. I get starstruck because like this social media shit's weird, bro. Meeting people in person and stuff. And like, I am so excited to see what you're going to do this next year. I know you were the top rep over at not just Meraki, Sunrun, literally. That's such a crazy, like, what is like the goal next year?
Once again, it's not to be the top rep. Like for me, the top rep is like for the birds. If I'm being honest, like what I really care about is being the top management group, the top region.
But you had to go and make that statement. Very important. That's what's crazy.
It's very important in order for people to respect.
Do you feel like that was like the bloop? Like that was kind of like your vision? Like that was like the plan to do? Like when you went over there, like I just need to go just sling. Yeah. And just go and do the
between me and you, I could have done better. You know, and I always feel that way. I have never left a summer. I've never left a day. Even at Vivint, I remember there was a few times I sold 8 in a day. And I remember I came home and I'm like, damn, I could have sold 9 because like I took an hour break, right? Like I left and I ate food and I kind of like ate shit for a little bit. Excuse me. So I didn't come home thinking like, oh my God, I worked the hardest I can ever work. And if you have that mindset, like, dude, I'm doing too much or I'm like working too hard, then you're kind of in the wrong place mentally to be number one. people that are in the number one spot or people that achieve great things, they always feel like they're not doing enough.
Yeah.
And that's just like a circumstance of being a winner. People that are losers usually feel like they're working too hard and working harder than others and not achieving those results. So having that level of accountability is huge. And then this year, like I said, I'm most excited about getting all my friends successful. That's probably the biggest goal for me. And I know that if I can make everybody on my team successful, I've had a successful summer, regardless of how many I personally sell.
I'm excited to see what you're gonna do, bro. Because I know like you were in Puma Beast.
Puma Beast, yep.
Puma Beast. So I'm pretty sure you're gonna be making a stay. Because Meraki is like developed, bro. And I don't know if it's gonna continue with Meraki. You're gonna maybe do your own thing, but I'm pretty sure it's like whatever you do, it's gonna be freaking crazy. So here's a question: since we have like 15 more minutes, like, is a lady gonna come into the picture in this, or is this something where you don't want no woman, no nothing? Because I know like that can either be super impactful or it can be super destructive.
Yeah.
Like, is that something that you're like yearning for or no?
Well, I do have a girlfriend.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's going pretty well. She's amazing. She's very nurturing.
How long have you guys been dating?
About a year and a half.
Good. Okay. And that's been super good. Like,
It's been really good.
it makes you want to take over the world.
Exactly. Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay.
Amazing person. She's such a good girl. Yeah.
Like, you plan on getting like, is that what you want? Like, get married, have children?
Of course. Yeah.
That's dope, dude.
Yeah.
And you're Pakistani, huh?
Yeah.
So what is it? You're Muslim?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Walaikum assalam.
Okay, so we always end the pod with usually like a quote. I don't know if you know any Quran verses, but like what is like something you can give to the viewers as we like wrap this up? And usually sometimes like if you're a Christian, I ask you for like a Bible verse. They always know verses, so they always hit me up with one.
Yeah.
I don't know, like we're gonna recite Quran on here real quick, but like I'm just asking like what's like something that like really goes like along with your faith, or just something that you can tell people that you can just like give them off. Just give them something.
Well, there's a couple things that come to my head. The first quote when you ask me this is something I say all the time, is that success can be delayed, but it can never be denied as long as you strive for it every single day. So you will be successful. It may take some time. For some people, it takes longer. For some people, it takes less. But as long as that's your goal every single day when you wake up, is to be the best version of yourself and to achieve success, it can be delayed, but it will never be denied to you. Like God will always make sure that you get to where you want to go at the end of the day. If you just strive for that every single day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then another thing that comes to my head, I think I heard this on Joe Rogan, is you'd rather be a warrior in a garden than a gardener at war.
Word.
Which that really means is like you want to be the toughest, baddest, rawest version of yourself, and life just becomes a garden, right? Because if you're a warrior at heart, if you're a tough motherfucker, life is just going to become easy. But if you're docile, you're weak, you're too nice, the world is just a war and you're a gardener in it, and it's so easy to just get killed off and just, you know, be irrelevant. So I don't pray for an easy life or an easy summer. I pray for the endurance and the strength to handle a tough one, you know? So I'm totally okay with hard. I love hard. I look forward to hard because I know that if I can get through that, the world just becomes a garden for me, you know?
Yeah, bro. Some people say that people are experiencing life, bro. Life is experiencing Sher Ali, dude. Let's freaking go. That's dope, dude. That's cool. You were a polite motherfucker, brother. I'm like so glad you came on. I know it was like hella short, and I know we just like kind of wrapped it up. But damn, I want to keep talking. But dude, I appreciate you for coming on.
Dude, anytime, bro.
Is there anything you want to say? Is there any statement you want to say to the world right now? Anything. Maybe it's a thing that you want to do, something you want to say. Like it can be like anything you want. Like I'm not gonna let you leave this pod without you saying everything you want to say.
Well, let me see.
By the way, the weather out here is beautiful, bro.
Oh, you like the weather?
Yeah, it's so freaking.
Is your first time out here? You've been
This is my second time out here.
Hell yeah.
And Brickle's low-key like godless, bro. Like, holy shit, bro.
Kind of is. I can see where you're coming from with that. Really, bro, to anybody watching this that's in sales, that's gonna go out there this summer, like, bro, you have a really great opportunity in front of you. As a kid, like I said, I always wanted to be successful. I always wanted to be my parents to be proud of me, and I always thought there's a certain lifestyle I was gonna live. I just never knew that sales and door-to-door sales was how I was gonna get there. And looking back at it, I would never have it any other way because I never wanted to be a lawyer. What I really wanted was to live life on my own terms, to help other people, to make a lot of money so I can help my family. And sales is what kind of brought me there. So if you're going to go out there this summer, bro, like give it everything you have. Don't back down for a second, because these 4 months can truly change the trajectory of your entire life. And regardless of if you work at Sunrun, you work at Vivint, or you work in any other door-to-door industry, you have a really big opportunity in front of you to make an insane amount of money. But the money itself is just like a byproduct. It's the person that you end up becoming while you're striving for it, right? Like working so hard every single day, coming home and kind of just doing it all over again and again and again and again. And when you fail, you take accountability on yourself. Those are the moments that really define you, you know? So you want to become the man, and then the money will kind of follow, right? A lot of people care more about the money instead of becoming the man. Then you see a lot of like men that don't really act like men, but they have money. Right. And now they're just like sugar daddies to a bunch of girls and like walking targets, you know? So you don't want that. You really want to build the character, and there's no better place to do that other than like the army, I guess. Outside of that, like door-to-door sales is really that place.
And you think that everybody should do sales, huh?
Everybody should at least give their hand at it. Yeah. You know, you don't have to make it a career. You don't have to give it the rest of your life, but to go out there for at least a summer or 2 summers and developing those social skills, developing that mental fortitude that it requires to be successful at sales is so important. It allows you to walk into every room with a level of self-accomplishment that nobody can take from you. Yeah. Like, I just feel successful. It doesn't matter how much money I have. I feel like I'm doing the right thing. I feel like I'm a successful individual. And that feeling of self-accomplishment, you cannot buy it.
Okay. And then one last question that we're going to ask to end this pod.
Yep.
For somebody that knocked at Vivint and now is doing solar, and some people will say that Sunrun is not a solar company, it's an energy company, which I learned that from Zaw.
That's correct.
But with you doing all that, would you still tell anybody to go sell pest control? Well, you can only answer yes or no.
No.
Say that one more time.
No.
Oh, fuck the grit, dude. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Thank you so much, Sher, for hopping on. Really appreciate you, brother.
This was a humbling experience.
You are a polite motherfucker, and we're wrapping off, and we'll see you guys soon.
Hell yeah.
Cheers up.
I said I could take you somewhere, anywhere you please.